Take off, eh?
There we go. Something always has to be broken. Is that what's happening? Is that what's going on? Weird. I was messing with a bunch of stuff. Commands. Oh, that's why. Okay, shouldn't do it now. I'd set it up, or I was just playing around with stuff to see that if it would pick certain keywords, it would go off. Check to see if this actually works. If I got my sensors hooked up. Yeah, there we go. Thanks. I'm not racing. This is like a go slow day, Sunday morning. I should put that back to voice activity. Check my microphone. Yep, Check. Yeah, I thought, you know how some people, when you come into chat for the first time, it has like a custom message like, hey, Dimitri, good to see you back, that kind of a thing. I was trying to set it up in Lumia because I know it can do it, but it's a little more complicated. So when I turned on the lights, it got, basically, it would randomly pick people that chatted in or put a text, turn the light on. Good morning. Welcome to the, am I really up this early on a Sunday? Every time there's a chat, she go,
right on.
I'm here. I was gonna message you and say, hey, it needs to load the magic road, which takes like a minute or so.
Oh, okay, good thing. Well, I mean, I'm here like 3 minutes before my usual 2-minute panic, so that's not bad.
Yeah, because I clicked on like ride now. I've been on for like half an hour, and then it did this whole like loading magic roads, and it took a few minutes.
Get all my shit
Yeah,
set up here.
it's totally like, well, actually it's 6:55 a.m. on a Sunday. The times for these fondos don't really work out in my favor. It's either 1 a.m., 7 a.m., or 12 o'clock noon.
Yeah, that is taking a while. I put a fresh chain on.
Oh,
Yeah, I'm serious. Also, it's just getting really loud. Got my happy lights set up. You know those lights that like light therapy lights?
oh yeah.
Yeah, I think that's good to run while riding. Kind of helps mimic a more outdoor feel, right?
Makes it feel like it's actually morning.
Yeah. Yeah, because it's pitch damn black out there. It's like so black, I feel, well, I probably shouldn't even talk about it. My neighbors
Super into the waxing of the chains, Dimitri.
Cougar in the backyard. Hey, I thought you were always keen on the Whistler Fondo. I was surprised when you said that, when your response was hell no.
I think just logistically and cost-wise, I'm keen to do it one day, but it's hard to justify the expense.
No.
I got logged in so early, I'm on the third person in the front row.
Oh, that's funny. I think I'm at the back. Where do you see that? Oh, you just tell by your video.
Yeah. Sock is bothering me.
Getting up this early is bothering me. Although the nice thing is you can take a crap to the classical music on CBC at this time.
CBC.
Usually it's talking. But you know, before
it still has the elevator music because no one's paid to be working right now.
Totally. Are you just gonna ride this mellow for a bit?
Oh geez, yeah. This is not. I
Like,
think that's BK right behind me.
Like,
yeah,
you know,
like
get up to like 500 watts at the start, red line for 10 minutes, and then be mellow. Or if you're just gonna cruise.
RGT starts are known to be fairly worse than Zwift.
Oh, okay. Well, I'm not even gonna
But
mess with that. Oh, the
yeah, the
fan is so
radio.
fucking cold before things get going.
It's a fine line between, do you turn the fan on now and freeze, or do you wait till you're sweaty, then turn it on and be more freezing?
I opt for freezing just because usually like I'm too hot most of the time. So my theory is like 5 minutes of pain might save me 10 minutes of being too hot. But boy, that 5 minutes, man,
Yeah.
that is discomfort.
Well, and I'm wearing a hoodie right now, so
I didn't want to put mine on.
30 seconds. Yeah, totally. 1,000 watts out of the gate. Hey, Pete. Well, Peter, how's it going?
Fresh chains are pretty loud, hey? There we
Yeah.
go.
2 seconds. Oh, lightning.
Okay.
See?
What the fuck? It's like everyone
Well,
had like
see-
a rock. Okay,
Well,
listen.
see what
here's-
happens is, so like a Zwift doesn't allow you to apply the power until the gun goes down or the flag goes down, and then everyone rolls out of the start pen, where RGT allows you to ramp up the watts. So what guys do is they hit like 1,000 watts, and then as soon as the start happens, everyone slingshots out of the gate.
Yeah, that's what happened.
Like just what happened right now.
You know what's funny? So in Zwift, you know, in every race, there's always some jackass on a mountain bike. I thought, RGT, you're going to be more serious. No one will be on a mountain bike. I don't even know if you can get a mountain bike. Nope. There's some dude in a skin suit and a mountain bike next to me.
Yeah. Well, actually, the only benefit of the mountain, there is no, bikes don't have aero in RGT or rolling resistance.
Okay.
So you can actually keep up on a mountain bike.
Yeah, he's kicking my ass, actually.
The hand bike is where it's at.
I have to say, though,
Oh, good morning.
the drafting on this is way better than Zwift. Like,
And even like riding it for like 35, a minute and 30.
right. I mean, this is my first time drafting an RGT in a meaningful way, and it mimics real life in the sense that I'm doing, 40 pretty easily. Heart rate's still coming up, so I'm not even at 120. But like I say, I'm doing 40 kilometers an hour. I'm getting good benefit of draft, just like you do on flat, right? In real life,
Yeah.
you don't have to pedal hard to move quickly in a group. Unlike Zwift, where it's sort of like you just move faster, but you just pedal the same intensity,
Yes.
which is
Like
dumb.
there's no feeling of easing off on the pedals when you get behind somebody.
Right. You just both collectively go faster, but you're both still doing 200 watts or whatever. Whereas this, I can get in behind someone. I can ease up, still maintain 40 kilometers an hour or whatever. But just like real life. Exactly
Yeah.
like. Yeah.
It's like the start of the Tour de Victoria.
Yeah. No, that's a perfect example. Are you streaming?
Yeah, I am.
Am I audible on your stream?
You are if you want to be, or if you
Up to
don't
you.
care. Doesn't.
Go ahead if you want. I just have to know so I can control my language.
Okay, yeah, I'll put you on.
Okay. I'll
Everyone can
limit
say
the
hi to Brad.
Is anyone watching you?
There's like 5 people.
Oh, no
Got
kidding.
Dimitri from Toronto.
I was going to ask if they're all insomniac.
Shh.
Where are you right now?
I am in 162nd place, just climbing a hill.
Can you hear me, Lee?
I can hear. Yeah, I can hear you. Sorry, I'm in 162.
Oh, okay. You're ahead of me. That's okay.
I'm gonna have to take my jacket off real soon.
Yeah, I'm already heating up.
Yeah. Jacket's coming.
You're probably at the top of the first hill.
About halfway up. This looks like it's halfway.
Oh, yeah.
All right, fan is on. It's actually kind of unusually warm for January right now.
Yeah.
So it's like, yeah, the drafting is super realistic, but everyone's too fast.
Yeah, they're all on PEDs, even the bots. They should have a Lance Armstrong bot in RGT. Just 11 watts per kilogram everywhere he goes. Yeah.
Excuse me. I like the people yelling at you on the side of the road, but I'm not sure what they're yelling.
I haven't seen any. I think they've all gone home by the time I get to where you saw them. I'm only a few hundred meters behind you probably, but yeah, they're like, that's enough. I don't want to see the back half.
We saw the leaders.
Yeah. Did you ever hear Catherine's story about the spectators in the Whistler Fondo?
No.
Okay, so it was funny. At the end, you probably heard the story about how she. Okay, I got to stop my story for a second. You playing? I have a whole bunch of wheel sucks who are probably saying, "Man, I love RGT drafting. I can haul ass without doing much work." Yeah, me, you fuckers. Well, I mean, effers. Anyways, yeah. So
don't worry. The stream is for mature audiences. You can swear all you want.
Thank fucking Christ. It was like pressure building in a shaken pop bottle there. Yeah, okay, so she was cramping really bad by the end. Like, you know, she couldn't like put any effort down, or her legs immediately locked up. She had to walk, you know, like the totally painful pushing the bike up the hill. It's kind of at the end sort of scenario. And she gets to the last 400 meters where there's tons of spectators. Cramps hit, right? Gets off her bike, and you know there's people yelling, and she hears one voice come out of the crowd, "No judgment." And then one of the volunteers told her, "It's like, it's downhill to the finish line. Just stand on your pedals." So she does that, all her finish line pedals are of her standing on the pedals, looking like she's sprinting for the
Oh,
end.
that's awesome.
Yeah, yeah, like a like a badass, right? But in actual fact, she's just basically trying to keep her legs from falling off her body. I got a text from her, maybe about 10K from the finish line, because I was like, it was a long time. Where is she? And then this text comes in. I think I'm dying. So, yeah, it was a bad day for her.
I mean, I don't want to jinx it, but 3.8 kilometers in, I feel decent.
How far in are you?
3.9.
Oh, wait a minute. How did I get ahead of you? I was behind you before. I'm at 5K in.
What? I was like slowing down.
Yeah, I was
Waiting
speeding
for
up.
you to catch up.
Like I was on fire. I'm like, God, catch lead. Okay, well, I'm cruising now.
Time to step
So-
up to 200 watts. Exactly, Dimitri. Ramp this up here.
I'm just puttering around at like 170, 160 in this little pack that's a bunch of watt whores. So,
I have a downhill section coming up, so should help.
yeah, I'm on that right now.
Hey, Dimitri, thanks for stopping by. You have a good day. Well, this is the first 2 rides I did in the week. I seriously thought I was going to die. I was doing 210 watts. My heart rate was 177. Like I was,
Yeah.
and today feels more normal.
Get the Apple Watch out, check for AFib.
Oh, I was like, holy crap, I'm going to die. But today, like, my heart rate's still a little bit higher than it should be. But pedaling, everything feels slowly more back to normal.
Oh, yeah. I have to say, I'm caught in a real life situation that I encounter quite often where I'm with a group, but somehow I've been pushed out to the side. So I'm not in the front helping. I'm just off to the side, pushing my own watts.
Doing your own thing.
Yeah. Yeah. It's like, squeeze in. Oh, there we go. Well, finally. I've been tracking my weight fairly closely. I'm riding this fasted, by the way. Just had a couple cups of coffee and that's it.
Me too.
Yeah. I need to do more fasted workouts, I think. I am losing weight, but slowly.
So what place are you in right now then?
Where do I see that?
It's on the left, the far left. There's a number beside your name.
49.
Oh, okay, I'm 167. I just passed like 4 people.
Okay. It is impressive, though, how much weight can fluctuate daily.
Oh, geez, yeah.
And I definitely notice I can spike my weight in one day just by eating shit, right? Like, cake or Pringles or whatever. It's all water weight for the most part.
Yeah.
But
I noticed that if I eat anything salty, it'll be like, eat some chips. The next day, gained 1.5 pounds.
yeah. Other than the mini waffle ride, what are you riding for sure this summer then? Tour de Vic, of course.
Tour T to V, signed up for that already. Tamara has to use. Tamara's deferred for like 3 years, so they're pretty much like she has to use it this year.
I'm on the fence about the TDV still. If I ride it, I'll ride it with you.
Yeah, I'm just doing the 100.
Yeah,
cruise. But
well,
it sounds like they're moving that charity ride to the weekend before the TDV. So that'll be kind of fun. Because that'll be a 200K weekend, followed up by TDV, followed up by unpaved. Which should be pretty good to, put out a 100K effort and then taper the rest of the week.
Yeah. I'm not going to do any big rides this summer, even during training. Probably cap it at like 4 to 5 hours max, or even the biggest training rides. And I probably won't do that many of those, because I was listening to Steven Seiler on the Bike Nerds channel, and he was talking about the concept of only having a certain number of bullets all season in the gun, so to speak. And I feel like a lot of the time with Whistler, because it's at the end of the season, I've done several hard rides, especially Tour de Vic, always 3 weeks before, and I feel like I'm tired by then, right? Like, I feel like maybe I have like 2 good big rides this season, maybe 2, but I don't have 4.
Yeah.
That's
true. I mean, recovery gets longer in between these rides.
Yeah. Yeah, if there was longer, it'd be okay. But my best ride has always, except for one time I wrecked it, the Okanagan Fondo in July is always my first big ride if I do it. If I do that ride. And I felt exceptionally good 2 out of the 3 times I've ridden it. Like really, really good. And that's a 160K ride that I ride, like I say, early July. So I haven't done any big training rides. I have lots of energy and freshness. I have to watch my pacing, of course. But like there seems to be a thing there that's happening, right? Like sometimes freshness and not too many huge rides counts more than a heavy load of training.
Oh, it totally does. Especially if you already have a base. Because you're not going to go in reverse that much.
Right. Exactly. Yeah.
Well, and especially if you kind of keep riding. Like if you don't ride for 60 days, then it sucks. But if you're still doing a ride or 2 every week.
Yep. Well, leading into the Okanagan Fondo in 2022, I basically didn't do any long rides longer than the Yellowgate. So, that's 80K from my house round trip with a few big climbs. I think the total climbing when I ride Yellowgate is like, I don't know, 1,000 meters maybe. So not a ton, but enough. And I was riding that multiple times a week, or the equivalent. I was just doing a bunch of 3 to 4 hour endurance rides, but it's like nothing where I got to the point where, it's like, okay, you're still riding, but just like in the gym, when you keep doing sets past the point of fatigue, you're not doing anything. Yeah. You're just wasting time. So I didn't waste time, I felt. And so, I felt amazing in that 160K this summer, despite never actually having exceeded 100K on any training ride leading up to it. I'd done lots of volume, but I just hadn't done any huge, single rides that were huge. So I did wreck the E-Fondo one year by eating like a whole bag of chips on the way up. And the next day I was bloated as fuck in all my photos. It looked like someone had shoved the air hose up my ass. And I felt 30 pounds overweight. You know, it was just from all the salt. So that was a terrible ride. But that was an external factor.
I think I can almost see you pretty quick on the list. I can see
Where
up to
are you?
155.
Okay, I'm at 145. So I'm only 10 ahead of you.
Yeah, you can only see 5 ahead and 5 behind.
Yeah. Probably volunteer at Unpaved again this year.
Yeah, I'd like to do the full.
That close to Fondo time.
Yeah,
Too
it's a
easy to
hard
cover.
ride.
Yeah.
So hard.
Plus, there's lots of loose stuff. You know, I don't want to take any risks. One year I crashed right before the Whistler Fondo in the dumbest way possible. I don't know if I ever told you this, but I zipped off the paved path to take a pee.
Oh,
I hit
crap.
some wire that had left, and I just
That's
went over
weird.
the bars. Yeah, sucked. So, didn't get hurt that bad, but you know, I was sore going into the Fondo that year. Spot 142.
I'm 156, just passing 155. It's amazing the effort required solo.
Yeah. Although it's nice,
Okay.
you know, I mean, we're both pretty big, but, you know, like pushing, say, 200 watts, 180 to 200, no big deal for us. But, you know, watts per kilogram, it's not that impressive. But it seems like
No.
we're able to hang lighter weights doing 2.1, 2.2.
Yeah, RGT definitely favors watts
Yeah.
over watts per kg.
Yeah. I'm enjoying that for once.
found a group in the 140s.
That's my
sit in.
group. Yeah, I've been trying to wait for them, but they're not catching up.
Oh, yeah, I'm sitting at 153, and there's 4 guys right in front of me here. I'm going to draft them for a bit.
I'll drop back. That was my group, but some jackass split off the front, and then it all fractured up, and I got caught in the middle. And now he's out front riding solo. And I don't know, I seem to slow down, but that group never catches up. I'll slow down quite a bit. What's your heart rate?
170.
Holy shit.
I've been pushing. I've been pushing like 250 plus.
That explains it.
It's like you were slowly going faster, and I was slowly going slower.
Yeah. Well, I'm just in no man's land here, just sort of puttering along, so I'll just keep that up till you catch up. Don't put out any extra watts, you'll catch up eventually. Like
We got a huge downhill coming up.
Yeah, but your watts are higher, so you'll catch up.
Oh, we can rest on the downhill.
Yeah. But I just mean don't waste any juice to catch up sooner because it's in it.
Oh yeah. I like the draft countdown timer. It's easier to gauge how fast you're gaining and how you should ease off.
Yeah.
Like when it just says 4, 3, 2, 1, you're like, what?
Yeah.
But when it starts at 6 meters and counts down by, 1/10 of a meter, you can go, oh, geez, I'm gaining it a little bit too fast and I'm going to overshoot. Slow down just a little bit.
Plus, I mean, it's nice because you can see the exact watts you're saving, so you can gauge your effort that way, right? As your watt savings go up, you can take your effort down slightly.
It's more realistic in those regards because it gives you another sense that in the virtual world you don't have.
Yeah, totally.
Because in the real world, you can tell how fast you're gaining, depth perception, but it's hard to do it in game.
Yeah. I'm curious to see if the usual thing that happens with us happens, where at our cruising zone 2 pace, we start to sweep people up towards the end.
Maybe. Oh, I see you on the list.
Oh, good.
There you are.
Oh, yeah.
I actually have a group with me.
Been alone for quite a while. I'm going to go pre-ride Cypress Mountain, I think, some point in the spring.
Oh,
or
nice.
Summer. Yeah. Kerry was saying that he's done rides off the ferry, and Marine Drive is quite pleasant to ride on. And then I guess you can take Marine all the way to a road that gets you basically to the foot of Cypress, and then you're on the climb. So not too much hectic Vancouver riding. I was thought Marine Drive would be too narrow to ride on comfortably, but he said it's actually pretty pleasant, so I'm willing to try it.
I haven't really ridden in Vancouver since I was 16.
I don't think I ever have, actually. I'm trying to think if I've ever, well, I mean, other than Whistler, obviously, on a closed road, so that doesn't count.
Yeah, when I was 16, I thought it'd be a good idea to ride back from Vancouver in the summer. And so I had a fully rigid mountain bike.
Yeah.
That I put, 1.5-inch slicks on it. I put my bike on the bus, went and stayed at my grandma's house for a few days, and then rode back to Powell River.
Nice.
It was hell.
You would have gone on the Sunshine Coast, though, right?
Yeah. Like I did across, I think, the Iron Workers Memorial Bridge, along Marine Drive, up Taylor Way, out to Horseshoe Bay, took the ferry. Yeah. Totally had never done even half that distance in my life.
Thanks.
And I bonked so hard. Like, had no idea about nutrition, just drank water. I think it was like 20K out of Earl's Cove. They're about 90 meters behind you. I got a group of six here.
I'm just coming up behind a group of 4, so hopefully we'll turn into a big blob when your group catches up.
Yeah, I bonked. Like, I just couldn't even pedal up hills anymore. Had to walk. And that last section is super hilly. And at Earl's Cove, they have a little restaurant thing. And I just used the vending machine and drank 2 liters of orange juice. Just, people must have thought I was crazy, because I pretty much sat in the dirt, like almost on the, like in people's way. Like they had to walk around me, and I'm sitting in the dirt, chugging back orange juice, just looking like I'm dying.
Funny.
And then after Earl's Cove is 27 more K of riding. Oh, we can see you. We have a visual on your group.
Very good. I blew right through them. I don't know what the fuck's going on, man. I'm only sitting at like 170-ish on average, I'd say. 180, but...
Oh. This group I'm in is keen to join that other group.
They're not fast. Oh, there's a dirt jersey. I didn't know that the dirt cult that infiltrated RGT.
That's what I'm wearing. Not that I've raced for dirt in a while, but...
Did you see my jersey on the Discord channel?
Yeah, it looks awesome.
Yeah.
Oh, people are punching it up this hill. What the heck? Oh, after this little hill, though, there's a lot of downhill.
Yeah. Yeah, it'll be nice.
Oh, this is quite the pack.
Yeah, it's pretty big. That's good. Hopefully it sticks together.
I was super concerned that it was just going to be 60K of solo, or me and you.
Yeah. No one deserves that fate. 60K with me, with just me. Oh, torture. You'd have to write in your diary later on. He never pulls. He just never pulls. He just talks and drafts and talks. Yeah.
I'm mentally broken from this ride.
There you are. Everyone has nice jerseys. I realize I've pulled a rookie move that everyone pulls in Zwift, which is I'm wearing the default kit, which marks me as a total noob. So I got to figure out how to change that. I didn't think I had much option when I was using the free version. Now I assume I have something. So, I mean, this pink zebra stripe thing, it's like, fuck, the 1980s are calling. They want their jersey back. And I gotta find something better.
Oh, I can't wait for this downhill.
Me too.
See what those jerks did? Is they put the downhill as a segment to force people to push. So now this group is going to splinter because all these guys well, luckily it's downhill and I'm fat.
I was going to say, hopefully being heavyweights, we keep up without much effort on this part.
I find in RGT as well, riders go around other riders in a more appropriate manner.
Yeah. No more of that getting stuck like in Zwift, hey?
Well, you can't ride through someone. You have to go out and around.
Oh, yeah. But it doesn't seem sticky. Like, you know how in Zwift when you're riding behind someone doing, say, 1.5, you're doing 2.5, and as you pass them, you stick on them for a while. Yeah. It's like that would never happen. You should blow by them. But in Zwift, it's like you get hit by their fly paper or something. I'm enjoying bitching about Zwift, by the way. I mean, it's not bad. I mean, I spent, 3 or 4 pretty happy winters in the Zwift world. So I'm not bagging on it too hard here. But, I mean, I've always had a beef with their physics. And it's nice to be in a game where that seems to have been corrected.
Unless you're small, and then you're bitching.
Yeah. Yeah.
This downhill is not as downhill as the map looks.
No, not yet, at least. It's just been a nice cruise. What kind of watts are you sitting at?
180 now.
Oh yeah. Gee, I
Heart
guess I don't have
rates.
to ask. Just look.
Dropping down in the 160s, not the high 170s anymore.
Yeah, that's kind of where I'm at too. Kind of touching between 150 and 170. Seems. Trying to keep my heart rate under 130 for a while. Sad to admit, this is my longest ride in months, 60K. So I've been riding regularly, obviously, but just an hour, right? So
Yeah, so an hour, the most you get out is, 30 if you're depending on what route.
yeah.
This will be a good test because there's a few doozies in this series. I saw some with elevations of 1100.
Okay, wow. All right. When your power goes red, that means you're wasting effort, right?
Yes, that is correct. Or you're braking if it's a sharp turn.
I mean, you're right behind me, so you're doing the same, probably almost 40 kilometers an hour, 150 watts, and it's red, meaning I'm actually wasting wattage. So
What I like too is if you look to the left, you can see the little color bar beside people's names or under their names. And that's what zone they're in.
Oh, okay. And
If
what is
their
blue?
FTP is right.
Okay. So blue, I'm assuming is zone 1 or 2?
Yeah. I don't know what.
Wow, that's a great feature.
So
I never even thought of that. That's amazing.
it's another sort of realism thing, because if you're in a real race, you can look over at the guy beside you and go, man, he's pushing.
Yeah.
Do I have reserves to, drop him? Like that guy off the front just went red.
Yeah. So this light blue that we're in is definitely like endurance zone, zone 2, because I just dropped a bit and it went down to dark blue.
Yeah, I think it goes dark blue, light blue, green, orange, or green, yellow, orange, and then red.
Okay. Wow. Boy, someone really dropped the hammer at the front here, hey?
Yeah, I don't know what's going. Extra speed for the long downhill. I don't know. Oh, it's the finish of this segment.
Oh, okay.
That's what they're doing.
It's funny. If we were on a team, the ride leaders would be like, "What the fuck are you two doing?"
Yeah, yeah. Not paying attention, just
Chit chatting as the sprint takes off in front of us. And we're like, "What's going on?" You know. And Mr. Magoo of bike racing.
come on downhill. I want to stop pedaling.
The one thing I'll say about RGT is it doesn't look as obvious as it does in Zwift when you're on uphills or downhills.
Yes. Should do the Canadian Championships in February.
Yeah.
They have random.
And compete in the women's division.
They have random prizes as well,
Oh, cool.
and it's just fun to say that, because even if you're last, you can still say you're like 80th in Canada in your age group.
Oh, nice. That's funny.
I think I was 17th last year.
I thought of what?
So I was 17th in my age group
Yeah.
because there was only like 26 people.
Oh, that puts you 17th in Canada for esports.
Yeah,
your age group,
exactly.
right?
Yeah, exactly. That's all that matters. So I mean, even if you said you were 100th in Canada, still pretty awesome.
Yeah, that's impressive.
I'm not pedaling anymore, and I'm actually super tucking and maintaining pace.
Very good. It's only minus 3%, so if you can do that without pedaling, that's awesome. I mean, I'm hardly putting on watts.
I drift back just a little bit behind you, and then I get your draft, and then I start to move forward just a bit. Oh. Problem is when your flywheel stops.
I know.
I just wanted to like soft pedal just to keep back on. And I had to wind up the flywheel again.
Yeah, and there's like a bit of static friction to overcome there, or, inertia, obviously.
I mean, it does spin for quite a while, but it's only about 30 seconds or so. I also like this with RGT is they do long races like this.
Oh, yeah.
Zwift doesn't do enough long ones.
You'd call this one long, right?
Yeah, 60K, that's a long. Well, compared with Zwift, that's long.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, Zwift has long routes, so you can ride by yourself, but they never do events that are long.
Yeah. I like that it was just an event and there's not really any options for different distances. So like, this is the thing.
Yeah, this is the race. This is what you do. And everyone starts at the same time.
Yeah.
A's, B's, C's, D's, like... See, in the Canadian Championships, you have to wear a specific jersey. There's age category jerseys.
Okay.
I think that guy yells, "Come on."
Which guy?
Oh, when we cross those checkpoints, there's people yelling, and I think he yells, "Come on."
Okay. I had my sound off in the game. It was doing that voice thing where people in the vicinity were automatically using voice.
Oh, you got the voice chat on.
But I turned it off, but it still didn't seem to curve it, which was...
Oh.
So there was a glitch there, so I just turned the sound off entirely. Hopefully no one can hear me in the game. Probably their ears are burning.
You're like, "Come on, D. Tucker, pick up the pace."
Yeah, where that guy made fun of on the mountain bike. I keep wanting to joke about D. Tucker and how he probably works at a hemorrhoid clinic. Well, we're halfway already.
Yeah, it's pretty good. Looks like it steadily climbs to the finish.
Yeah, a few downhills, little bits, but yeah, looks pretty steady.
Well, if we can just stay on the back of this group, my heart rate is still way up there, but
Heart rate. Lee, what's your heart rate at?
oh, like 159, 160.
That's not bad. That's coming down, right?
It's gone down because it was in the 170, but for the last hour, I'd like it to be a little less. The effort I put in early on has made me a little nervous.
Right. Yeah.
So I just want to like
This is not
calm.
long enough to worry about that, I hope. Because I put in an effort going up that hill thinking I was behind you.
Yeah.
So I was like, I went up that at around 300 watts. So I might pay the price, but I'm hoping that, we have probably an hour at most. It seemed,
Well, especially if you can stay with a group like this, we're going pretty fast.
yeah, almost 40 sometimes on the flat. So,
You just gotta mind your. That's the thing with RGT is it's not as sticky, so you gotta pay a bit more attention if you want to stay, where you are in the pack.
yeah. I'm just standing up for a second.
Uh-oh. I got caught behind a guy while the group is slowly pulling away. Wasn't paying attention.
Yeah, I see what you mean. Yeah, that can happen in a blink, it looks like. Which is like real life too, right? If you're not...
Oh, that's exactly what happens in the crits, where the group slowly pulls away and you can't get their draft.
Yeah. To me, it wasn't very slow when they pulled away.
Yeah.
It is interesting looking around. Lots of people in the green zone, and I see blips of yellow. I see a few people who are very consistently in the blue. You're one, I'm one. A few others. But yeah,
well, it's a good thing. It's a good thing to watch because it can kind of tell whether you're going to be able to hold this group or not.
Right.
If you're in the yellow and everyone else is in the blue, there's a good chance you're not going to be able to hold them for...
Yeah.
But if you look and everyone's blue, green...
Yeah, or maybe you better start drafting strategically.
Yeah.
Too, right? Okay. So
if you're yellow, if you're one zone above everybody else, it's okay, I need to sit in and do nothing.
Yeah.
And this large of a group never happens far back in a Zwift pack.
No, I know. No, you just basically end up in no man's land, never catching the guy in front of you, the guy behind never catches. I would say most of the people in this group are riding like experienced riders would outside.
Yes.
There's a few people who are punching it now and then, but mostly everyone is blue and green.
Well, Zwift definitely attracts, I think, more newbies that don't understand, the nuances of pack riding.
Yeah.
Like, you're better off waiting for a group because you're going to go faster in the long run.
Yeah. All right, this will be an interesting section because we're hitting our first hill after the downhill and flat.
Yeah.
I'm guessing it won't be that steep, probably 1.5%, but yeah, it'll be interesting to see what happens here.
I think the group is going to split up. It's typically what happens.
We got to jump into higher zones. So. That's not bad. Seem to be able to hang with them at around 210 watts.
Yeah.
So have people watching your stream?
It says there's 2, but no one has chatted anything in about 35 minutes.
Yeah.
This is super early for mine. Here we go.
Yeah, that group went off the front there. That's the thing too. Sometimes a group goes, you catch up to it, but you only catch up to the guys on the back. Who are, you know,
Yeah.
they're barely hanging on, and then they drop off. It's like, oh shit, now I've got a gap again.
Oh, they're pushing. I can't close that gap. Dying.
No, I don't think I can either. I don't know. I did, but I don't know if there's any point to that. It was very coordinated. I wonder if they're all friends.
Maybe. Oh, oh, that was
Oh,
tough.
no, I'm not going to pull for this pack at all.
No.
No. The guys riding outside this morning, hey?
Yeah, what?
TV's gravel ride, I mean.
Oh man, it was pouring in the middle of the night. The weather's unpredictable. It was nice.
Crazy.
It was like 9 degrees, sunny for parts of yesterday, and then the rain starts.
Yeah,
And it's just like pounding.
I know. It's been incessant too, hey? Like, it just hasn't stopped. It's going to be muddy as fuck out there.
There we go. It's going to be tucked in the middle.
Good.
Ah, keeps pushing myself out.
See what I did there? There was a guy, C. Robbins, pushing out front a little bit. But I'm, like I said, I'm refusing to pull. So I'm just slowing down, forcing the people behind me to jump out in front and pull to close the gap.
Yeah.
I refuse to go out of the blue zone until we hit the next hill, because, I mean, I'll have trouble.
This is the big hill. I see a little
Yeah.
bit of yellow on it.
Yeah, so that'll be steep. I don't know what yellow means in this game. Probably more than 5, I'm guessing.
I am not exactly sure.
But I have a feeling that'll be the time I have to stand on the pedals during this ride, if I want to stay with the gang. See, I'm not letting you guys drive.
It works though. It works.
Yeah.
See, because of sticky draft and Zwift, guys wouldn't come around like that. The whole group would just slow down.
Yeah, that's right. And then all of a sudden you'd be off the back and they'd be 100 meters ahead and you'd have to do 500 watts for 10 minutes to catch up.
Or you can, in this, you can force the situation a bit more. You're
Yeah.
like, I'm not pulling. Like,
Yeah, that's exactly what's happening. And it's working great.
see, I don't mind pulling when I'm pulling at 160 watts.
Yeah, that's
Like,
right.
fine.
That's basically what I'm doing too. I'm just holding my zone to 170-ish, 160. Definitely be done right around 9 o'clock, though, I think.
Yeah. For some reason, I thought the list said 68K, not 60.
I thought it was longer than 60 as well, but no complaints. Well, I'm getting some graphics glitches here.
Oh. Oh, what's going on?
You get that too?
Yeah, where I turned around and I'm going slow and then I sped up and...
Yeah, same. And then I was kind of riding through pavement for a while, like it was quicksand.
It's an RGT server issue, I think.
Yeah. Guys up in front of me are all punching it again. Is there a segment?
Yeah, it ends in 200 meters.
Oh, I see what's going on. Okay. Yeah, way to race for 120th place, dudes.
Yeah. I think the segments, I think there's points involved.
Okay.
So if you stay back and conserve energy and give her on a segment, you could still probably place higher, I think. Now they're all tired. Now they're super slow. Now he's like whizzed past them.
Pulling in zone 2 at 180 watts.
Oh, this hill's gonna be tough. Starting to climb.
Might have to get out of my big ring for this one. We'll see.
3% so far. That guy gave up.
He went for the bacon handout and almost took me out, just like in real life.
Well, RGT as well. What you see is what everybody else sees.
Oh yeah.
It's based like a real video game on the server, rather than Zwift is client side. So you could be right behind me right now, but you Zwift on your screen, you might be way in front of me.
I prefer this, even though it's probably more glitching.
Well, all video games that are multiplayer are like this.
Right.
It's just Zwift, the way they chose it is the dumb way, especially for racing. You think the guy's beside you, but he's actually, in front of you.
Right. It seems like Zwift, gets the dumb decision every single time, right?
The only benefit of Zwift's situation is if you lose internet, you can keep going with your ride.
Right.
I believe RGT, if you disconnect from the server, you're done.
Yeah.
But I mean, really, how often does that happen?
Yeah, not much. And then you get to put it on Strava anyhow. Was
Yeah.
winning until the server kicked me out.
Yeah.
Well, actually, no point in punching it up this climb.
No.
I have no group.
The
And that
group
other
is already
isn't-
cresting the top.
Yeah. Yeah, all the lightweights. We'll probably catch up to them, I imagine. They seem to surge and then relax. They're all Americans. I wonder if they're buddies.
Maybe. Or they could be all talking on voice chat. Who
That's what I
knows?
think. They've been in a solid group the whole time. And I think every time we catch up, it's like, oh, fucking Canadians.
Those guys' wheel sucks. They're not even pulling.
Just like in the real world military. I'm glad we only have 16K to go. I gotta pee.
I'm pretty tired. This will be more than double the longest ride I've done this in 2023.
Nice.
Actually, this is only ride number 3.
Well, it's a good way to kick it off. The build, I mean.
Yeah. I'll probably just say do base throughout the week and then save it for the Sunday morning where I push it just a little bit.
Yeah. Yeah,
But-
I'm gonna do the same. Just keep up with my usual 5 o'clock hour rides.
I say push it, but I'm doing 190 watts and I feel like I'm dying.
I know, but pushing it is like distance too, right? Like I have a TSS right now at 66, which is usually the most I'll get on a weeknight ride would be 45, depending on how long I go, more like 40.
Yeah, that's
So-
true.
And by the time we're done, should be 75, 80 TSS, I'm guessing.
Yeah, I'm almost at 80 right now.
Yeah, so that's pushing it. I think you can push it in volume as much as intensity. Where's your heart rate at now?
166.
Yeah, good. Holding's pretty steady, hey?
Yeah, and pretty much it spikes really fast on any effort. But now it's 157, but I'm doing 150 watts.
Yeah. Yeah, so you're safe in zone 2. You just heart rate kind of data is sometimes irrelevant, right? Like,
I think it's just more to do with my, well, partly my physical fitness and my weight.
yeah.
I have a whole lot of extra mass for the blood to flow.
Yeah. I went to put my socks on this morning standing up because I was kind of rushing to get online. I'm like, my fucking gut's in the way of lifting my foot up and putting my sock on. You know? Like, okay.
Yep.
Yep. Okay, so these are pretty smart riders with us, I think.
Yeah, I'd say so. We
They're
got
all-
Germany and the UK.
Yeah. Just hanging out in the blue zone with us. Although I think that English woman is having trouble keeping up, maybe.
Yeah.
Probably a lightweight, so she has to just stick in the draft, probably. But it seems like she has to keep spiking power to hang on, or we kind of drop her. She'll blow us away on the hills, I'm sure. It is interesting to see, though, like, just riding at a pretty cruisy pace, we've made up a lot of spots already.
Oh, geez, yeah. I was at like 165.
I think I was at 180 at one point, right? Or,
Yeah.
no, I forget, but yeah, I was way down there. We both were. I see a group in the distance. I think we're catching up with that American.
We are. They were about 100 meters ahead, and now they're 70.
Yeah.
65. 60. Oh, they slowed way down. 50.
Wonder if they're waiting for that pack of Americans behind us. We'll see, I guess, when we catch up.
40. 30. This is the group that lost us on the hill.
Yeah. And lost us on the sprint at one point, too.
Soft pedaling so you don't blow past them.
Yeah. I don't know if they're moving fast enough for me, though.
Just push. There we go, right through them.
Definitely seems like they're communicating and maybe waiting for that, like I say, the American bloc farther back. I don't know. Interesting. That was a very coordinated slowdown on their part, though. Unless they're all just gaming hard, that's what
I
happens.
think just in general, people are, like you say, more cyclist knowledge savvy than the average Zwifter. So they probably realized, hey, there's 5 people behind us. Let's slow down.
One of the interesting things about lying about your FTP means that everybody's in the blue and they probably shouldn't really be.
Yeah.
I think I have mine listed at 270 in the game, but it's probably, well, actually, that's probably accurate right now. That'd probably be about 260, 270 maybe.
Yeah, I think I did like a progression recalculation and it says I'm sitting about 245,
Oh, yeah.
241, which is honestly about right because if I push 250 watts, my heart rate goes into 180 land.
Butt hurts a bit.
Yeah. I'm definitely at the butt hurt stage where I'm looking at the distance going, okay, this needs to end. I've stood up a few times.
Same.
I'm even like fully chamois creamed up and everything. I like how this group is just content at this pace.
Yeah. Be nice if one of them pulled for a bit. I got a creek somewhere. It's in my shoe. Or it's in one of my joints.
Probably your joints.
That'll become more and more true as we get older. You bring your bike in, I can't find the creek.
Yeah.
It's like, neither can we, but we heard your knee when you came in the door.
Okay, final 10K. We got this.
Oh, yeah. No problem.
Like B. Martin tried to go for it.
Yeah, and been able to draft the longest time
and
since.
realized that was a mistake.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. That was funny. You can't really go hard till about 2K out.
Yeah.
That's my. Yeah,
Well, and the problem too is this is like uphill finish, so
yeah.
me pushing it as it is. Oh, my butt. Oh, my butt.
We'll be done in about 15 minutes, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll be quite a bit before 9, I think. I don't think that part coming up that hill is that steep.
No,
I
I
imagine
think
we'll
it's like probably like 2%.
yeah, should be able to average 20, 25 at least, if not more. And the steepest part is this part. I think a lot of the guys with us are gassed out
Yeah.
because there's no way I should be leading up a hill. I wouldn't have been at the start. Interesting, we're kind of keeping pace, maybe slightly gaining on the little pack in front of us, but they're all in the orange and the red
Yeah.
and yellow. I wonder if they're big guys.
Like big guys.
Yeah.
Ah.
Yeah, it's only 5.5%.
Yeah, this is still drafting speed.
Yeah, still doing 30 kilometers. And the only difference is I'm a few watts higher.
There's people dropping off that pack already.
Yeah.
Jay Phillips we're catching.
Yeah.
I like this. I mean, I'm working my butt off. The wattages aren't super high, but I still feel like we're involved.
Yeah. Yeah, me too. I like it a lot. It's been really fun.
You know, like we got our little group. Everyone seems to know what to do.
Yeah. Everyone except Jay Phillips, that is.
Yeah. He needs to slow down. It's like he's trying to hold on. Like, dude, you're not.
Patches draft in a minute. Yeah, it's interesting. He is pushing. And it's like
he's trying to stay away.
Yeah, and I'm borderline blue, green, keep popping back and forth. And we're slowly reeling him in.
Like he needs to be on the front of our group, pulling us if he's going to do that kind of effort.
Totally.
He's just wasting it.
Yeah.
I'm going to bridge a little bit. I'm going to like, if I get in between us, then it'll suck this group to him. I'm not trying to go for a sprint finish or anything, so I'm already toast. We got another guy we're gonna catch. Two guys.
Yeah.
Coffee and a kunkel. Well, there's
These guys, what are they trying to do? That Jay Phillips guy again.
Oh, the pace.
Yeah, it's picking up.
Oh, 3K.
Nice. This part's the funnest part.
Yeah.
Watching everybody and seeing if they have anything left, if they're going to make a push and race for 105th.
I'm going to guess a bunch of this group is going to go.
Yeah. I'll try and stick with them.
The key is you don't launch your sprint till there's 200 meters left.
Yeah.
So you just hold their wheel.
Yeah. But I might decide, depending on what it looks like they have left, I might just grind them out at a higher pace so they don't have a speed. That guy's going. Nope. Well, I'm pulling quite a bit, so at a kilometer, I'm going to put a hard effort in.
All right.
See what happens. Because I'm not getting a draft anyhow, so I might as well split up the pack a bit. Conco, he's on the edge of disaster. See what happens here. Yeah. I don't think they have much left.
No. You pretty much dropped everybody.
Yeah.
You got a huge gap, Brad.
Okay. Couple victims at the finish line here.
Ah. Oh my goodness.
That was good. I knew they didn't have much left.
No. I tried to close the gap, and two of them came with me, and then fell off.
Yeah, I was watching that.
Oh, good
First
effort,
one.
Brad. That was a
That one
push.
guy. Yeah, that was. I got my heart rate up, that's for sure.
Oh, yeah. I'm going to go to Borrego, which is like Tempest Fugit, and just do some easy spinning.
I'm going to log out. I'm already off the bike, so I got to pee. I don't have spinning.
I feel like I just can't.
What's that?
I feel like I just can't stop. Otherwise, my legs might seize. I need to do some like 60 watt.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, I'm like shaky.
That was fun, though. I mean,
That was fun.
it's really.
Like I say,
really
there's still strategy.
Yeah. 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 And it was interesting because, I was sort of watching the color bars of the couple guys that were behind me for a bit. And they, every time they would do a push, they would quickly go into their orange. And I thought, well, the only reason they're in the blue is because they're drafting me and they're saving 50 watts. So, yeah, that was a good guess on my part, I think. It's the same as when we saw it in Zwift, right? Where we'd see people like shoot their watts up and then fall back and shoot them up again. They're struggling.
Yeah, see, like that was fun because, like I said, there's still strategy involved, and we're in 100th place.
Yeah.
We had a group, and the group was all of people that were, similar fitness to us.
Yeah.
And we still kind of duked it out to the last, kilometer.
Yeah. Yeah, using strategy, right? Because you and I were smart for the first 9/10 of the ride where we were mostly conserving energy. Except at the end there, I was pulling for too long, but they wouldn't.
That was a long pull. That was that was super impressive. I was like, oh man, he is gone. And then I was looking at your gap, and I'm like, your gap's getting bigger and bigger. And then a guy that was trying to chase you gave up.
Yeah, but I mean, leading into that, I was pulling the group for quite a long ways too. That's why I decided to punch it a bit early, is because I was letting them draft anyhow, and might as well push them all up into the red at least, right?
I know that was a good move.
I don't have a sprint. I have more of like a long effort.
Well, that's that's the exact strategy then, because I was chasing you down, and I have, I'd say an average sprint, but by the time I would get anywhere close to you, I was way too tired to even bother trying to sprint.
Yeah. Yeah, like I
You just
feel like
like,
I can hold 400 watts maybe for like 2 minutes would be about what I
yeah.
have. Yeah. So, mm, yeah, looking forward to next weekend. What's the profile like? Is it more climbing?
Let me take a look here. I think
They
I
probably
had
get
it up on my
progressively.
phone. Next week, yeah, it's like 4,000 feet.
Oh shit. Okay, so
So,
1100 meters.
and it's 30, so 45K, 45K, 1,100 meters.
Still probably about 2 hours then, I bet.
That's going to be a tough one. That's like the Alp.
Yeah. Is it one big climb?
I don't see the profile on.
Okay. It sounds disturbingly like it's a climb up the Alp and back down again.
Actually,
Because
let
they
me
have
take a
the
look
Alp.
because I think you can. Let me just log out one sec. Menu and ride. I think if you go to events and click on events that you're registered for, race. So race number 2 is 844 meters, 57K. No. That's race number. What? These are listed wrong. 45K, 1,100 meters. Yeah, it's an up and down.
The Alp de Huez then. It's that much.
So basically, 3/4 of the ride, or 2/3. Yeah, it's a straight up, straight down, and like a bunch of like little up, down, up, down, up, down.
That'll be interesting. I'm like to see exactly what course they put us on.
The climb looks like it starts at about 320 meters and goes up to 700 meters.
Okay. So it's not the Alpe d'Huez then, because that would basically be from 0 to 1100 in one straight shot.
Yeah, this is like 1,100 for the whole race. But the climb is like 500 meters straight up
Oh, yeah. Okay.
and then straight back down.
That's not trivial.